And now, Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is called The Spirit of Love. Must pass away. Death seems like drifting snow, wanna run and on, but the spirit of love lives on and on. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart. The value of life lies in playing with the song of humility. When feeling is pure and all has gone, you know and realize life cannot be without the spirit of love. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart. Let the river flow to the sea and enter deep, deep within, feeling like a wave of the endless sea. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is May the 4th, 2021, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is Series 2018, class number 333. And now, Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Trigunaraktam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, Section 78. This mystic story of King Shikhidwaja and Queen Chudala continues. Just to remind you, King Shikhidwaja was a great righteous king. He attained his kingdom, he became the king in his very early age and ruled his country in a wonderful way. As time passed, he married another brilliant and great personality, Chudala. And Chudala was exceedingly advanced in her purity of feeling. And she was well skilled in all artistic talents. Shikhidwaja was skilled in intellectual study of scriptures. The marriage became wonderful for each other, supplement, complement. Chudala taught artistic dance, music, kirtan, and so forth. And Shikhidwaja gave all the intellectual insight into scriptures. But Shikhidwaja had all the intellectual insight, but not attainment of intuitive knowledge. Intellectual understanding is not the characteristic of your real success. Theory is not the basis of your success. It's a powerful help, but simply because you are theoretically advanced, PhD, that doesn't mean that you have attained real knowledge. So, in practical life, they began to help each other in a profound way. Shikhidwaja became more and more involved with his own pursuit of spirituality in his deeper concept, psychic powers meant real success. His definition of success is how much power one can have. And that was not real. Chudala had her own inner life. And so, subjectively, Chudala has been practicing profound manana, reflection, inquiry, affirmation. All these go together. And here's a sample of her Chintan. Chintan is another name for practicing reflection. Lo, I have understood the truth. The self is the witnessing light that illumines the world phenomena. It is the light of the self that illumines the soul and sustains its existence in the heart. For simple understanding, the self is like the sun. Sun is only one, allegorically speaking. But reflected suns are countless. Illuminations of the sun are countless. But turning your attention to the reflected sun, that's the role of jiva, individual soul. Its soul continues to have its individuality on the basis of ignorance due to wrong identity. Reflected sun has no reality. It looks like the sun, shines like the sun, and creates lots of drama in the world. But the reality is the sun. So, now the reflected stage, the jiva is reflecting, who am I? And bringing into the insight that I am that sun. Therefore, all that the reflected sun creates is due to the absolute sun. So all that you think, all that you feel, all that you do, all your activities, your three words, bhur, bhuva, swa, all these are sustained by the absolute sun. Sun is the light of lights. It is a light, it is the light of the self that illumines the ego, intellect, senses, and body. All these is, you are aware of the role of your intellect, role of your ego, your senses, your body, all that you experience in the three planes, practical realities, sentimental experiences, and intellectual insights. This is called bhur, bhuva, swa. All these are illumined by pure consciousness. Just like all your iPad and your computer system is illumined by energy that's beyond all the files and folders that you have in your computer. So all the files and folders that you have in your iPad are a result of Maya, illusion. The reality of the iPad is I am. So who is the light of lights? It is the divine self, the absolute. And that's what you are essentially. It's the light of the self that enables the intellect to perceive the conditions of the mind. The mind too borrows the light of the self for its functions. The senses shine by the light of the self. Just as fragrance is sustained by the wind, so this soul is sustained by pure consciousness. Your individual soul, the reflected sun, is sustained by the real sun. It is due to the objectification of consciousness. The term objectification means absolute subjectification is the sun. Objectification, reflected suns, countless. So, when you turn your attention to the reflected suns, you are objectifying your consciousness. But when you turn your mind towards attaining enlightenment and allowing itself to dissolve, then that's called absolute subjectification. It is due to the objectification of consciousness that within a moment the soul finds itself involved in a conditioned existence defined by its own desires. It is due to illusion that the self seems to lose its infinite majesty and becomes involved in the perishable conditions of the world process. To rather realize the world process to be a long dream, there is very little difference between dream experience and your daily practical experience in the world. Because in dream experience, three factors are involved: dream subject, the dream world, and the experiences of pleasure and pain. In your practical experience, same factors. You as subject, the world as objects, and your experiences. This is called triad. I'm never tired of it. But all the triads in your dream is illusion. No matter how interesting the dream may be, how real it may appear while you are dreaming. The dream subject is not real. The dream objects are not real. Experiences are not real. In your waking state, you never know who you are. You don't know all your potentialities. You are constantly struggling to discover within yourself strengths, and different powers that are hidden within yourself. You are constantly discovering. And thereby you feel better and better. But when you will be the best, you never know. Today you are better, tomorrow you are bitter. And next day you are filled with litter of problems. And the world is being explored by scientists, and they are far from knowing the truth about the world. And your experiences are always illusory. Sometimes you think something is negative. It proves to be positive. Sometimes you think something is very positive. You are the best. You have won the big lottery. But you never know how many lots of problems you have won also, along with lottery. And in spite of all these experiences in your waking world, deep down in your nature, you want to get away from it. You want to go to sleep. And there is no contradiction with entertaining the idea of dumping all your experiences. It is so natural, instinctive. This deep instinct is a reflection of the reality. All this is illusory. Your reality is beyond the world. She reflected upon the nature of the immutable self that continues untainted by all mental projections, all Vishayakara vrittis, thought waves of your mind. All that you experience is in the realm of illusion, like mirage, or like a cinema show. While the screen is always there, but you are not aware of it. Just as the sky is ever untouched and untainted by the clouds, see, just like the screen is untainted by projections, the sky is untainted by clouds. In the same way, the real I am is ever untouched, untainted. That I am is your source of absolute love. What you love most? The answer lies in I am. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. For the sake of the self, all becomes dear. So don't be enchanted by the eyes of the deer. Understand? In those eyes, what lies is your truth. It is you are loving yourself. All illuminations, the world of illuminations, is loving and glorifying the sun. Nothing else to love. Just as the sky is ever untouched and untainted by the clouds, so the self is ever untouched by one's meditations. Having realized this, Chudala experienced immense bliss. It is the realization of the absolute self, a realization that becomes possible by pratyaya bhav, Again, reminding you of the word pratyaya. Experiences based on mental projections, that they are called bhav pratyaya. Pratyaya exists. But in the state of absolute reality, all that is brought out by projections, all that is all illusory. Nothing exists. So, a deeper inquiry must give you two angles. One angle, the world of pratyaya, how to live in the world, how to do your sadhana with integral yoga. When this pratyaya movement has been purified by sadhana, it becomes so pure and transparent that the screen is not ignored. Rather, it is a screen that shines through all projections. Brahman is realized as the reality in spite of, just like in spite of your dream. Sometimes you have a waking consciousness enters your dream world, and you have double consciousness. On one side, you know you are experiencing pleasure, pain, and whatever is happening in your dream. On the other side, you know it is a dream. On one side, you see yourself tumbling from steps and breaking your legs. On the other side, you are completely amused, because this is your dream. All that you will do is shake up your arms, stretch your legs, awaken yourself. So when you have awakened yourself, that means absence of vritti-based experiences, absence of projections, and that's called pratyaya bhav. At last I have found the truth, knowing which one attains all that is to be attained. And this is a famous statement. What is that? Knowing which all is known. By knowing the sun, you have known all reflections. By knowing the screen, you have known all the projections. By knowing Brahman, you have known all that is known. And where is that Brahman? Your own innermost self. Aham Brahmas. I am Brahman. The mind, senses, and intellect seem to limit the light of the self. But in fact, they are entirely non-existent. See, even in your dream, you have your mind, your intellect, your senses, your body. But all these are non-existent. They are only appearances. Similarly, all these that you have is in the realm of appearance, mirage, maya. The absolute consciousness alone exists. It is devoid of ego. It is free from impurities. It is the homogeneous essence behind this world process. It is pure consciousness, the very abode of auspiciousness. Movement towards the revelation of consciousness is the source of all that is good and wonderful in your life. The path of auspiciousness is strewn with Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, auspiciousness, beauty. This allegorical way of describing Satchit Ananda. All is pure existence. All is pure awareness. All is pure bliss. What is Sat is same as Chit. What is Chit is Ananda. Just as golden ornaments are nothing but gold, so all these objects are essentially Brahman. Now, illustrations are being given. Golden ornaments, you can view them two ways. On the basis of the reality behind the golden ornaments. The reality is just pure gold. But one becomes attached to names and forms, gold that has been brought into an ornament. And now you love the ornament and it has a name. Now you love the person who gave you that ornament. You love the history behind the ornament, how the ring was to your great-great-great-grandfather. And from there it has descended. So you are more shaken by names and forms, not by the substance. Substance remains absolutely untouched. The experiences of gain and loss are in the realm of Maya. Your essential reality is absolute bliss. That's what Chudala goes on reflecting. Once this self is discovered by rending the veil of ignorance, it cannot be covered again by illusion. In worldly illusions, break and you develop another illusion. Illusion after illusion, day by day. But when you break the illusion in the form of ignorance, the veil of Maya, that veil will not affect you again. That's the big difference. Once you are enlightened, you cannot become disenlightened. That captures your whole personality. The self is beyond the intellect, mind and senses. Just as golden ornaments are nothing but gold, so all these objects are essentially Brahman, the divine self. Just as waves are nothing but the ocean, and dreams are nothing but the consciousness of the waking person. Your waking, dream and sleep, they are sustained by pure consciousness. These three states are variables. What is invariable is pure consciousness, absolute self, transcending the three states. How can the sky be affected by drifting clouds? All your experiences are like drifting clouds. Deep within, you are like the sky. You can identify yourself with a patch of blue that is drifting along with the clouds. A patch of blue is in trouble. It's racing along with the clouds. You are a patch of blue. But the reality behind the patch of blue is absolute blue, the sky. That remains untouched, unaffected, taintless. Countless storms and hurricanes have come and gone. The sky remains unscratched, untainted. Countless experiences you have gone through. But your essential nature remains untouched, untainted. And that essential nature, I am, that's what you allow your mind to entertain. But it will not be possible just by theory or by sentiment. It is possible by integration. How can the sky be affected by the drifting clouds? How can there be birth, death, heaven and hell? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Birth, death, old age, and even after death, heaven and hell. All these are like drifting clouds. This Atman cannot be pierced. It cannot be burned or destroyed. It shines like the eternal sun. Having realized this self, I am now free from all illusions. I am as profound as the vast ocean. I perceive all developments of life as illusory modifications of the Absolute Self. These are affirmations that become very powerful. I am that unborn, immutable, eternal, infinite, pure, expansive, transcendental, taintless Brahman. You certainly need not pour all these, but reflect upon each point. Unborn, wait, try to understand, and see the delight that you discover that you are not subject to birth and death. Even the idea you're not going to die is not an ordinary attainment. To be free of death virus. In spite of all the limitations in daily life, allow these insights to develop. And that's the purpose of sadhana, purpose of yoga, purpose of practicing dharma. I am immutable, eternal, and so forth. All differentiations and illusions, all differentiations and dualities are sustained by the illusions of the mind. They do not exist for me. I am resting in the essential self. As long as you are identified with jiva state, you are constantly shaken. As long as you are identified as a reflected sun in a jar of water, you are constantly shaken. But when you discover you are the sun, the question of being shaken does not arise. The boundless ocean of non-duality alone exists. I am that. Thus awakened from the sleep of ignorance, Chudala attained that peaceful state wherein all the miseries of the mind, and what are the miseries? Attachment. You become attached and it creates lots of distress when attachment cannot be sustained by you because you are led by karma. How long you can be united with people, when you will become separated, all these are led by karma. And you have no control. You can't stay attached even to your own body, no matter how wonderful body you have built up. So attachment is a source of misery. But if you become attached to God within you, in every attachment, if you gain an insight that what you are really being attached to is a revelation of who am I. You are looking for your I am. In every attached condition, it's like first your mind creates a polish. Being externalized, look at an object, you are not looking at the object as it is. You are looking at a projection. Projection of your mind on the reality that is Brahman. A mother attached to a baby. The baby is Krishna. Baby is Rama. The attachment is backed up by illusion. So be attached to Rama in your baby, Krishna in your baby. I'm using allegorical terms. Be attached to God who dwells in every name and form. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. But that quickly said, it's a whole progressive movement to discover God in all relations. And to the extent you discover, you are unshaken by union and separation. fear, source of misery. Attachment, fear, and illusion cease to exist. Like clouds dissolving in the wintry sky, she saw the cessation of the world process in the vastness of her essential nature, the self. She attained enlightenment. Section 79. Shikidvaja notices the special beauty of Chudava. Here is a practical insight. If you are moving to enlightenment, what will be your setup in the world? You will be a spirit of spring. You will not be the ordinary person. When the spirit of spring comes, it seems like it has come to a tree. That tree is Jivan Mukta. But the spirit of the spring has gone to inspire the entire forest. And all that is positive happening has inspiration from that source. Put it in a simple way, your personality will shine. Brahma Tejas, with a radiance of spiritual knowledge. So if you are not so beautiful, you become amazingly beautiful. If we are not so vibrant, you will be amazingly vibrant, and so forth. Though she continued to perform her day-to-day duties, deep within she was sporting in the ocean of infinite freedom. She had no need to accept any development, nor did she desire to reject any external happening. She was beyond the need to accept or to reject. That's the state of serenity. And serenity is the gateway to liberation. She had crossed the ocean of the world process. She had destroyed the net of doubts that entrap one's vision. She had attained the realization of the innermost self. Filled with this experience of bliss, Chudala became endowed with unique form of youthfulness. See, it's a good beauty treatment. Seeing this, Shikidvaja said, "O beautiful one, suddenly you have become so enchanting. You are shining like the moon in the blue sky. It seems you have drunk the very essence of nectar. You are beaming with bliss." And we will continue. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वारुकमबंधनात् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत्।
And we conclude for tonight, overfilled with gratitude.
Om Shri Sadguru